What's going on, fish nerds? Welcome back to the fish room. Got a little bit of a moving building project going on here today. I need to get this turtle tank. You can see it's coming out from the garage door this way. I want to turn it so it's running along the garage door that way, so it kind of opens up a little more room. And then once we get it turned, I'm going to put a shelf over on the other side coming out this way. And when I say shelf, I really mean an aquarium rack coming out from the garage door, and that way I don't have to go down this little aisleway to get in here to the 75, which by the way has a ton of algae that I need to scrape off the glass, but I've just not been worrying about it because I still need to rescape this thing, so excuse the mess that it looks. We're gonna scape this soon and make it look really nice, but in the meantime, I want to get this turned to kind of open this area up, and then we're going to do a new rack. I don't know if I'm going to buy a rack. I'm going to swing by the store this evening, or we may build it. I'm not sure. I haven't decided yet. You will know by the end of the video what we're doing. But that's the situation. I need to get water drained out of here. I need to get these guys in their own little bins while we move this thing around. Don't want them in here while we pick this up and move it. The fish will be fine. I'll leave just a few inches of water in here for them, but the turtles I do need to get out of here after we get the water drained down. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull the pump out of the overflow filter, stick it in here to drain all the water out underneath the garage door, and we're going to pick this thing up, move it, and fill it back up. Alright, so we are all set back up and everything's running, working fine. Turtles are all settled in and happy. So got this turned this way now, and you can see that opens this space way up compared to the way it was. I did have to squeeze in between this tank, and that's really about as wide as it was. But now this opens that all the way up, and as soon as I get something else done with these tanks, which is part of this rack that I'm going to put here, I'll be able to get rid of this table, get this out of the way, and so this will just all be opened up, and everything's going to be easily accessible. And so the plan is put a rack here coming out this way, so essentially this just becomes a big U-shaped area of tanks. And so with having that big U shape of tanks, that's going to open this space up. I won't have this stuff here, and I'll actually be able to get to all my tanks, and may have some seating that we add in here. Not sure exactly what we're going to do, but it should greatly open up the space, make it a lot more easy to get to everything, and make it just a much more enjoyable space. But yeah, for now I just need to get the rack that I'm going to put in here. I thought about building a rack myself. That would be cheaper, but I don't want to build it for a specific size tank, and Home Depot does have a nice big sturdy shelf on sale right now that would suit my needs. I want it to be a little bit multifunctional. I want it to be tall enough that I can have a top rack that I can use for storage to get some stuff out of my way. That's going to help with this wall of junk that I still need to declutter out here in the garage, so that I can utilize this space later down the road. That way I can have tanks on the first few rows or shelves, and then have storage up top is kind of what I'm envisioning. So I think that's the route we're gonna go. So I just need to make a Home Depot run, and then I'll check in with you guys.
the man.
That's right. All right, guys, so we got this big old box with this big old shelving unit in here, and this thing is 6.5 feet long. It's going to be 6.5 feet tall, and it's going right there. I don't want to bore you with the process of me following the instructions and putting this thing all together, so we're just going to zap into the future in 3, 2, 1. And there we go, guys. This is our new rack. This thing, again, is 6.5 feet tall, 6.5 feet long. It's actually, these wire things are 72 inches, and there's a little bit of space here. This is actually just wide enough, if I am correct, that I can get 2 40 breeders on this shelf. And that's kind of my plan here, is 2 40 breeders here, a row of 10 gallons here, and 2 more 40 breeders here. And then I'll put storage bins up here on the top. I'm not gonna put tanks up there. These wire racks, even though the shelves themselves are rated for 1,500 pounds, as long as it's evenly distributed, I'm not crazy about the idea of putting tanks right on these wire racks, especially with things like this where this is raised up a little bit. It's not totally level. So I do intend to get some thick plywood and cut it to size to lay on these shelves to kind of reinforce the shelf a little bit and evenly distribute the weight, give me a smooth surface to set the tanks on. So I'm going to do that before I put any tanks on here. But that is my plan. 2 40s, 6 or 7 10s, and 2 40s. And so I'll have, you know, a good, you know, 7 to 8 inches above the tank here. I'm only going to have 3 to 4 inches above the tank in between here and the 10 gallons, which may be a little tight, but if I set the tanks back a little bit, I do have this much extra space as well, so it shouldn't be too bad. My plan for the 10 gallon tanks is I want to set up a bunch of shrimp breeding tanks. Just have several different colors and species of shrimp. I've done the cherry shrimp, I've done the fantasy blue dreams. I want to expand that collection again a bit, and I may even get into some Caridina species. And also I want to redo this rack. So we've got shrimp tank here, they're both filthy. Shrimp, guppies, and bristlenose plecos in here. The water in here is filthy. Just simply because the amount of food that I dump in here. I dumped in an entire can of green beans in here last night. That's why this is all so cloudy in here. But we've also got the sea of snails that you guys are familiar with. But we've got all these cherry shrimp here. But I want to take these tanks off of here. This tank, I mean, there's nothing even going on with this tank. It's just a filthy mess. It's just sitting there with nothing going on. And so I want to redo this. I want to take the breeding for profit tank, move it down here. If I'm going to have an ugly tank, have it be down there. I enjoy the tank. I enjoy what the tank accomplishes, but it's not pretty. So I want to move the breeding for profit operation down here, as well as this grow out tank down here. Move that over here as well, and I want to scape these. So that's part of what's going on with this rack. So I'm going to put 2 40 breeders down here. They're going to be the first 2 tanks to go on here, and then I'm going to put a row of 10 gallons to start a shrimp breeding operation. And those lights just went out over there. It's getting late, but get the shrimp breeding operation going on here, and then eventually put 2 more 40s up here. Not sure what I'm going to do with that yet, but there's no rush with that. And not having anything up here yet will give me time to evaluate if I do have enough room to work with the 10 gallons on this row before I put anything up here and set everything in stone. All right, Aquashella is March 30th and 31st, and I am going to be there. It's going to be awesome. They're having a shrimp breeding competition, and I think I may participate in that. I know Lucas Bretz is going to be a judge in that competition, so that's going to be really cool. He's a very accomplished winner in the international competition, so it's going to be really cool to have him as a judge in the All-American competition. And so I'm heavily considering participating in that, but I will be there, and they will have the YouTube booth. Thanks to Rob at Flip Aquatics for coordinating that. He does a ton of work for the YouTube booth at Aquatic Experience and also Aquashella. And so he's going to be there, and you know that Flip Aquatics is a channel sponsor now, so huge thanks to them for making stuff like this possible here on the channel and supporting us. And sidebar, if you guys want to support me, go to flipaquatics.com and support them, because Rob has been good enough to take this channel on and to sponsor us and to support what we're doing. So if you go to his website and buy from him, then that's just going to mean it actually pays off for him to support us. And it's just a really cool situation, because Rob's my friend. He has been for a couple years now. We're buddies, and really excited to be partnered up with them. And the shrimp tanks that are going to be going on the shelf beneath where I am right now, I'm going to be stocking those from flipaquatics.com. So go check them out if you haven't already. But I was talking to Rob a few weeks ago, and then he announced it shortly thereafter. Aquashella is doing something very, very cool, where they are actually taking the proceeds from their raffles and donating them to charity. A lot of times that's how they pay their bills and generate revenue as a trade show, is through those raffles. But they're actually going to donate to charity $100 for every YouTuber that makes a video and tells about it and says whether they're freshwater or saltwater. They're going to donate to one of two causes, one being a freshwater charity, one being a saltwater charity. You guys know I'm a freshwater guy. So March 30th and 31st, go to the Aquatic Experience if you can to meet me there. I want to meet you guys. It's going to be completely fun. It's a very different trade show from what I've seen. I've never been there, but from the videos and pictures and things that I've seen, it's a very hobbyist-oriented trade show, whereas a lot of these trade shows, and even Aquatic Experience, it's very much geared towards retailers. It's a lot of manufacturers trying to show stores and online retailers and local retailers that they should be carrying their products, whereas Aquashella is very much geared towards making sure hobbyists have a good time coming to the show. So I'm really excited to make it there for the first time. There's going to be a ton of people there. I'm going to be there. Flip Aquatics is going to be there. Aquarium Co-op's going to be there. I think Bob Steenfott's going to be there. The King of DIY is going to be there. Rachel O'Leary's going to be there. Ray's Aquaria, Creative Pet Keeping, Primetime Aquatics. All kinds of your favorite YouTubers are going to be there. And so it's just going to be an awesome time. I'm really looking forward to it. All that said, I'm excited about Aquashella. I'm really excited to be there and to meet all of you who are going to be there. I'm excited about this. Whoa, that was really loud. I'm excited about this new rack and the tanks that I'm going to be able to set up now with this to do the shrimp breeding and move the breeding for profit tank over here, and figuring out what's going to go up on this shelf. I've got room for a couple of 40 breeders, so if you guys have any ideas of what should go on this shelf, let me know in the comments below. But as for now, guys, I just gotta say thanks for watching. You guys are awesome. God bless you, fish nerds, and I'll see you next time. That hurt.